ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know what time of night it is.
Oh,
it is time for the Dirt and Asphalt podcast. As always, I am Safe Crafty. Alongside me, Alex Wanders. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen?
Because
guess what? We are live on Facebook.
All over the world.
Amen. Oh,
Just
man,
kidding.
that was such
Not
a
really,
great...
but-
You know what, Alex? That was such a great noise right there, and we were fortunate enough. We got to listen
We
to
heard
four
that
nights of...
for 4 nights in a row.
Oh, folks.
Let me tell you, we made it to Eldora Speedway for the 36th running of the Kings Royal.
Highest
Paying wing sprint car race in history. And let me tell you, boys and girls, it did not disappoint one bit, not 1 second of it, except maybe when we got there on Wednesday. But that was our own fault. That was our own fault. That was not the Kings Royals' fault. That was our fault. So
as you can see, starters, we do have some new stuff out here. We
got
got the
some
old
cool
Harry Grant 33 Skull
Harry
Bandit
Gant.
car.
Gant,
sorry.
Grant. See that?
I'm sorry. I
Bought that at a yard sale.
Yeah, we did.
This is SG's collection.
Like $10.
My collection is sitting at home right now. So
You got a Craig Kinzer car that Steve Kinzer signed. We'll talk about Steve here more in a couple minutes.
Of stuff to cover
and
tonight,
we got
SG.
a beautiful Dale Senior number 3 Bass Pro Shop car.
Yeah,
They're
we
absolutely gorgeous.
But I think what we need to start with tonight is we got a lot to talk about, folks. Like, this is going to be a jam-packed, action-packed show. And first of all, we went to a race 5 nights in a row last week. 5 straight nights of racing.
I think that's a record for me.
And it all kicked off Tuesday night, Southern Iowa Speedway, for the first annual Caleb Himmel Memorial. And I just, real quick, SG, before we get real too far into our Kings Royal trip, but I want to give a shout-out to all the competitors and great race fans who showed up at that event. They had they had 106 cars in the infield Tuesday night at Oski, and it was some of the best racing we've seen at Southern Iowa Speedway in years. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know the official count for people in grandstands and stuff like that, but they had a huge crowd Tuesday night. It was awesome.
No, it
was fantastic.
It was really emotional because
So yeah, Safe started crying.
No, I did get teared up though a couple times before some of the features because Caleb was such a huge race fan. That whole family is, and he got the honor that he deserved, and that was the cool part, was seeing all the cars there that came out to not only represent who they are in the racing community, but to honor Caleb Hammond, who we lost way too soon. And so that was just amazing to put into a few words. Honestly,
it was a great event. I'll tell you what, the racing lived up to the hype.
It did.
The AMOD class, everybody, we had some hitters. You had Nate Hughes from up north. You had Ben Nading. Lance Mari from California showed up. Caden Carter, the local hot shoe, he ended up getting the win. He won by over half a second, or half a second, I should say half a lap, is what I meant to say.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And so congratulations to Caden. He ended up picking over $2,500 in prize money. Damon Murdy, the Chelsea Charger, won the stock car show. Congrats to Damon.
That was a good race, too.
I believe Dustin Griffiths ended up winning hobby stocks.
He did?
He got the hobby stock victory. Sport Mods was also Caden's brother, Braden Carter.
Dustin didn't win hobby stocks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mike Hughes won.
Mike Hughes,
Dustin got
apologize.
second from coming from the back.
That's correct. They
Mike
had a big
Hughes
wreck.
won.
I apologize for that. Mike Hughes did win. It's been a long week. We fried our brains out in Eldora because she was a hot one out there.
Oh, man, it was so hot.
Also, and then I can't remember who won Sport Compacts off of the top of my head, so I go ahead.
Brandon Housley.
Brandon Housley, I apologize. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate that, buddy. And then obviously Brayton Carter, Logan Henderson put on one heck of a battle in that Sport Mod show, and Brayton got the best of Logan this time. Those guys are good friends. They race against each other a lot, and it's going to be a good season there. And then Safe, right after Tuesday night, we actually left Tuesday night. We ended up loading up the car and head straight to Eldora. We drove 8 hours straight and made it to Rossburg, Ohio by about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that was a long drive.
Oh, man.
What
made it worse is that all the road construction we had to go through.
Indiana and Illinois is horrible.
The state of Illinois, if you're watching this podcast, you need to figure out your road situation.
And
Indiana's pretty bad, but Illinois is worse. You guys need to figure out your road situation. I don't know what you all got going on over there. Your guys' roads suck. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, I mean, it was horrible. Alex had to drive through it on the way out. I had to drive through it on the way back. And the way back wasn't too bad because it was Sunday.
And
it was Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was really early in the morning.
Exactly.
So we got a lucky one there, but on the way out, was it hard.
But safe, I think we need to go ahead and tell folks. Okay, so Wednesday we get there. No big problems getting there. It was easy getting there. Not a problem. Other than the road construction, which sucked. But we got there. We found our camp spot. We got our pit passes and all, or we got our passes to our campground and all that stuff. And we had this tent. It's like an 8-man tent. And
big tent.
Big tent. Like took up the whole width of our space.
It did.
And the thing is Safe and I, we're just going to go ahead and admit it, we've never put a tent together in our lives, so we don't really even know what we're doing to begin with, if you guys could believe that.
Horrible experience.
Horrible. This part was the only bad experience of the whole trip, other than the fact that it was ungodly hot. But the thing is, we couldn't get our tent put together, and thankfully we met a cool dude named Ryan, and I can't remember Ryan's last name. He's a native from Ohio. He was a super cool dude. Hung out with him.
Time out real quick. Yeah, we did mess up Sport Compact winner that night. It was Nathan Chandler. I remember that now.
That was
my bad.
Safe's fault, but
that was my bad.
Yeah, we screwed everything up. But
sorry, back to the story. The tent.
So we could, and Safe and I kind of got into an argument over this tent because this tent was driving us both crazy. And we got mad. So we compromised and ended up going to the Walmart in a town about 20 miles down the road.
After we met a cool guy named Ryan.
I just said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry. See, look at this.
But we went and bought a tent, a much smaller tent, like a 3-man tent.
4-man.
4-man, it don't matter.
It was bad.
It barely fit both of us, so I think false advertising.
It was rough.
We got our tent set up, so we were good there after that. Wednesday was a little rough, but then we went, and Wednesday night was the Let's Race 2 makeup from a race that rained out in May. And there was 42 World of Outlaw sprint cars and 28 USAC non-wing sprint cars checked in.
Ignore me.
What are you doing?
Oh, there's a
Why are you
piece that keeps moving.
Safe screwing with everything. Look at this.
I'm sorry.
Safe.
I'm trying to make it so
You're making me uncomfortable.
Rattling.
You're in my safe.
Oh well, we're gonna have to deal with it.
You're in my safe space.
If you hear a weird rattling noise, it's just Alex's mic because he's someone's hitting the table in it.
I think it's a ghost.
It could be. Anyway, so we went to Walmart, got a tent, set it up.
Yeah, we're past all that now.
I know. I'm just recapping because
we're at the races.
I know. So we get to the races.
So let me tell you, my first impression of ever seeing Eldora Speedway in person was, holy cow! This is a big. It's big. Like It's kind of weird, and I'm probably wrong, but it's just my opinion. Shut up, Steve. I think Eldora Speedway is shorter than Knoxville. It feels,
it looks
shorter. Like, you know what I mean. Like, I think Eldora's a half mile to the outside. Knoxville's a half mile to the inside. Whereas I think Knoxville's a 5/8 to the outside. But the banking at Eldora,
26 degrees.
I think it's 24. But either way, 24, 26, at that point, it doesn't even matter. It's all relative. And Knoxville's got 7 or 8 degrees in the.
Yeah, there's not much. Knoxville looks flat compared to.
But I'm telling you what, it was something else. You know that the racetrack is so fast. It's so quick.
Oh, it's scary.
They carry so much speed out of the corner.
There's no straightaways. It's like one big corner. It's like one big circle.
There's pretty good straightaways. It's just the corners are so wide and so banked that you just never lose any speed. You constantly keep your momentum up. And I think the crazy thing about it is that they said that Eldora used to have over 30 degrees of banking. They've actually scraped a ton of banking off of it, made it a little bit flatter. Just because we talked to some guys that said they were going so fast at Eldora that it's like, dude, we've got to find a way to kind of slow this place down.
They said it was that and because of the truck series coming and running. They said it was a mix of both, which, I guess makes sense.
Because I think when Tony bought it, it was at 36, and they took it down to 30. And then when they got the truck race, like you said, they took it down even to 24, 23, 25, whatever it's at now.
I think it's either 24 or 26.
But
don't quote us.
Don't quote it. Yeah.
Please
do not quote us. Go ahead.
Don't quote us on that.
Absolutely not. That would be absolutely horrible advice to quote Dirt and Asphalt Park. Well, on some things.
Some things.
Some things.
Yeah.
We get some things right. We got this right. 28 USAC cars, 42 World Outlaw Sprint cars, and yours truly, the big man. The driver of the Tony Stewart Racing 15, Donnie Schatz, got the win Wednesday night.
And Sunshine won the non-wing.
Sunshine smoked
him. And that was like a repeat of Knoxville, except instead of Brady Bacon in the lead, it was Sunshine. I mean...
to be honest with you, and I'm probably going to offend a few people here, but
that doesn't matter. We're good at that.
The non-wing show Wednesday night, I didn't think was that good.
No, some of the battling like towards the back was okay, but when you got into the front 5, it was like
out.
The problem with non-wings is that they don't have. It's just not the same as it's not the same as a wing car on there. They're a lot slower.
Well, they're a lot slower, but really, there's so much. They got the cushion so tall and so wide. It was right on the fence.
It was.
There was
literally
guys like Brady Bacon stuffed it in the fence with 3 to go,
he stuffed in there several times.
Yeah, in the last couple laps he did, and he was just trying to make ground up. One thing I was really disappointed in, and it's just on a side note about the USAC show. And I'm not bashing USAC or anything. We love non-wing sprint cars, but I just think maybe on a half mile they're not as good as what you might see.
Like Knoxville, they were okay at Knoxville. They were okay at Eldora, but they need to stick to
one thing I could not understand.
Gas City.
One thing I did not like, Safe, and I know you and I both did not like this.
Yeah.
Is on that restart they had one yellow, which we still don't have a clue why they threw the yellow. But
no clue. Dumbest thing ever.
Tyler Courtney had lapped 5 or 6 cars, and they kept the lap. They had double file restart.
Yeah, they kept the
lap cars in between first and second place. So by the time I think
they made it impossible.
Got second.
Yeah, they made it impossible for someone to beat Tyler.
By the time Brady and Justin got clear to the lap cars, Courtney was already a straightaway ahead of everybody else. So it's like the race was over.
Yeah, after that came out, I'm thinking this is done. Just write the check to Tyler because no one can pass anyone now because there's too many lap cars in between them. I'm like, this is... And they want someone else to win, or they're trying to make it close, which I think is what they did by the yellow, but that's just my own opinion.
And maybe that's just what you said.
Why would you put the lap cars in there?
And the thing is, I don't understand, and maybe it was because it was a co-sanctioned event at Knoxville. When they were at Knoxville, which I'm not sure. I think they made it at Knoxville and Granny Checkered. It did. That's probably why they didn't even have a yellow at Knoxville. But I don't understand why they put the lap cars in there. I know back in the old days they used to do that.
I don't know.
With the Outlaws and stuff, they put the lap cars in there, but I don't like that rule.
I don't either. So moving on to...
But Donnie won Wednesday night, but
congrats,
he didn't really, walk away and just leave him in the dust and wave at him. He was just consistent all night long, and he had consistent speed. It wasn't blazing speed where he just left everybody.
No, it's not like he won by half a lap. It's not like he waxed almost the entire field. It was kind of different for a change.
One thing about the racetrack Wednesday night too, it was really dusty.
Oh yeah, we needed. We were after cars went by, and there was even a split second. You're wiping
after like 2 laps.
Yeah,
of racing.
You're wiping dirt off you. Like there was physical, like you were caked in dirt.
But to Eldora Speedway's credit, that might have just been a track prep thing because later in the week, the track was not near as dusty, and it might have been some of the direction of the wind. If you get a strong wind, sometimes even.
Well, I think they were thinking the rain because it did rain. I think they thought
a little bit on Wednesday, yeah.
Well, I think they were thinking it was going to rain more, maybe.
That's
true. There's a lot of different things there that could happen. So
that's true.
But the rest of the week, though, so let's go to Thursday.
Thursday night was just the World of Outlaws, and I believe they had 54 cars Thursday night.
That sounds about right.
And first of all, I was good racing Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
The Big Cat Brad Sweet and the Casey Kane napping on a parts number 49. But he ended up getting up the win Thursday night in the Joker's Wild.
Yeah, that was a great race.
Him and David Gravel and Logan Schuhart and Donnie Schatz put on one heck of a battle. Those were really the 4 fastest cars consistently all weekend. Those were the guys that I think by Thursday night, everybody had solidified that one of those 4 guys was going to win the King's Royal on Saturday night.
Yeah, after talking to people and stuff like that.
Right. So
yeah, I mean it was Thursday night was awesome, and I'm going to move on.
Multi groove racing Thursday.
It was Friday night was awesome.
The night before the King's Royal, which the Joker's Wild, we failed to mention, paid $10,000. So Brad Sweet already before King's Royal, he picked up $10,000.
Yeah, so then Friday night, the night before, paid $12,000.
And
once again, old Don,
the honey got her done. He got her done. I
shouldn't say he put the school because he won by.
Logan Schuhart was actually, in my humble opinion, was the fastest race car on the racetrack. But we went down and talked to Logan after the races, and unfortunately, Logan had an issue with the wing. The wing bolt the bolt that holds the wing tree and the wing cylinder to the wing tree broke and fell out. And unfortunately, it pushed the wing all the way back, and the car just got so tight he couldn't hold his line around the bottom.
Yeah, but still holding on to second is very Or sorry, third. That's right. Third. That's still awesome because there was a great field of cars.
There was.
The one that I thought was going to be the dark horse.
On Friday night they had 56 cars.
Yeah.
Was it 60? 60 cars. I'm sorry, 60 cars.
My dark horse this whole weekend was actually Aaron Reitzel, and he had.
Well, he was actually my pick to win the Kings.
I know,
just because
and
the way he's
they
been
were
running.
having motor problems all week.
Yeah.
They had a lot of gremlins until Saturday night. Then they had a bad gremlin Saturday night.
It was just a tough week for those guys. We
felt so bad for him because
he was really a guy I really thought was going to win the Kings Royal too. Just based on the fact that he's been really consistent this year. He's won a bunch of Ohio races with the All-Stars already, and sometimes it just ain't your week. Nothing really they did that was wrong. It just sometimes you have issues that is hard to work out. Anybody who's ever raced or owned a race car or worked on a race car knows at some point in a season or at some point in your career you're going to have something that's going wrong. You're going to fight engine problems. You're going to fight handling problems. You're going to fight brake problems. It doesn't matter what it is. You're just going to have those problems. And this was just, unfortunately, the timing for Aaron was just not good.
It just was a rough week. We're hoping he'll have a better one this week because the All-Stars run 3 nights. They run at Jackson, Minnesota, and then they come to Knoxville, and then they have the Rice Rudine Memorial race at West Burlington at 34 Speedway, so go to those.
And Reitzel's currently the All-Star point leader, so he needs to get a little momentum.
So we're hoping that he'll have a good week. Great team, but
safe
overall.
Let's talk about the big night, the Saturday night, the 36th running of the Kings Royal at the Eldora Speedway. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of you have probably either watched on Dirt Vision or you saw the highlights, but if you were not there in person, you missed out on one of the greatest nights in the history of sprint car racing.
That was some of the best racing I've watched. And starting off, I wanted to say, Brian Brown's team, I feel horrible for you guys. Yeah. You had a very tough week. You had a engine heater that blew.
Yeah, that's something we need to talk about.
That was scary.
The explosion on that.
Oh, that scared
that
the
was
heck
weird.
out of
Was
me.
that Thursday night during the
That was
Brokers
Thursday night, yeah.
See, and this is a weird deal because I'll just go ahead and tell us from my point of view real quick, and Safe will chime in as well.
Yep.
I was standing on the backstretch. This happened during qualifying, and they were doing one car qualifying at a time, split qualifying. And they were qualifying, and all of a sudden I heard a boom, like a kaboom, and you could actually feel the percussion from the explosion. I'm like, what the heck? You know, it kind of sounds like when you blow right your tire on a sprint car, and you know there's that loud percussion, that loud boom. That's what it sounded like. I thought somebody, and there was only one car on the track, and he was going by me, and I'm like, well, they didn't blow a tire. What was that? Didn't think anything of it. They got done with qualifying. Safe was standing on the opposite end of the track. I was on the backstretch.
I'll talk about my perspective.
I come walking up to Safe, and Safe tells me, he goes, dude, you're not going to believe this. And I go, what? He goes, Ryan Brown's engine heater just exploded. I'm like, what? His engine heater?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell
so I'm standing on top of okay, so Eldora's Enfield is awesome, by the way. You need to go.
That's true.
You can stand on a platform above the comm tower and everything, and it's just as high as the trailer. So I'm standing up there watching qualifying. The next thing I know, I hear a boom and the ground shakes. I start looking around. I look at Brian Brown, and he's on top of his trailer going like this, like, is everyone okay? And then he screams, oh, holy bad word, flies down from his ladder, so I take off over there, and
Safe is going to be the safety crew.
There's a Jeep that's a push truck that had a 383 stroker 10.5 1 to compression.
It was kind of weird.
Part of his bar was like bent, and it had a huge chip of paint out of it, and the guy's standing there, and there's this black box. I'm like, what is that? And he's like freaking out, so I go over to Brownie's trailer, and there's bits of metal everywhere, and there's hot oil all inside of the trailer. Well, come to find out, that was the engine heater. So I message Alex, I'm like, dude, Brownie's engine heater just blew up. We didn't have cell service, by the way, hardly out there.
Well,
you did, I didn't.
Thursday, Friday was kind of okay. Saturday was a disaster, but the thing is,
oh man,
I just remember when I was coming back over towards you.
Yeah,
there was a Eldora Speedway official, like a track worker, who had like 2 garbage bags full of. I'm going to assume now they were oily rags because there was oil dripping out of them. I'm going, what the heck is that from? And that's when Safe told me, he's like, dude, Brian Brown's engine heater just exploded everywhere. And like Safe said, the top of it blew the sides of it's like a box shape. It's a diesel-powered engine heater, and it blew the sides out, and then it blew the top off. And he said when it blew the top off, that it blew it over, it cleared 3 trailers down the other way, because Brown was parked on the end going into turn 4.
It blew the bottom of half of the box
and there was like 4 or 5 trailers parked over there.
They didn't blow the top, it was the bottom.
Yeah, but it blew it when it blew it out.
Yeah.
It blew it out. It blew the sides out and it blew the top off. And it threw the top of the heater over like 3 trailers and cleared 3 trailers. Like it was.
It cleared the top cleared 3 trailers, and then the bottom half.
I've never seen that.
The bottom half cleared 3 cars.
Right.
It shot in front of 3 cars, missed crew members, and then hit this Jeep and put a dent in the Nerf bar in the Jeep. That was insane.
I'll tell you what, they got really lucky. Nobody was standing right there.
Someone would have gotten really hurt. I think there would have been shrapnel damage to that person. So they were luckily Brown and all this crew.
More than shrapnel
all the crews,
damage. It might have been brain damage.
Yeah. So thankfully everyone was okay. None of the cars were injured. Just a really oily mess. To say the least.
Yeah, it was crazy. One of the craziest things I've ever seen at a race.
And then he blew a right rear in qualifying Saturday night, and that
he blew 2 right rears.
That's right. Because
I think he blew a right rear tire Saturday night in the heat race.
He did that too. It
wasn't qualifying. You're right, because then
Thursday
night, I think it was Thursday night too. He blew a right rear tire in the feature. He blew a tire in the feature and he blew a tire in qualifying. And qualifying was during the King's Royal.
Yeah, so Brian had
a bad week.
So apologies to that team, and also
why are we apologizing to him? It's not our fault.
I know, but I still feel bad for him. Anyway, we also want to shout out to Parker Price Miller Racing. I know he had a really tough weekend.
I'm not sure Parker might want you to bring that up or not.
That's okay. We're just gonna say he had a tough weekend. Yeah. That's how we're gonna leave that. But
Saturday night King's Royal.
Heck of a fight though, bud. I commend you,
ladies and gentlemen. Like what a show that was for the King's Royal. And to start off, I want to go ahead and commend the people who showed up to the Eldora Speedway. We were told there, and they announced it over the PA system, that was the record crowd for Eldora Speedway, the largest crowd in the history of the Speedway. And actually, last year's King's Royal was the record crowd, and it was like 33,500. I haven't seen a number on this year's crowd. They didn't actually announce the number of people that were there, but I'm going to guess it was 36,000 at least.
Easily.
It might have been closer to 40. There was people everywhere.
It was ridiculous. If you haven't seen the video
or
from our 4-wide or the pictures, check them out, because my 4-wide salute, you can tell how many people were there. It was absolutely insane.
I took 3 pictures of the crowd. I took one of the crowd.
I have a video of it showing. I have a full panorama of the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to share. I didn't have cell service out there. Alex said I didn't know.
I didn't have it Saturday night. Nobody did.
Even though there was a cell tower next to the track.
There was just so many people on their cell phones that you couldn't. Because I felt really bad because I wanted to give live updates and wanted to do, not live video or anything like that, but I wanted to make sure that, you guys had a clue what was going on. Maybe if you couldn't watch on Dirt Vision or you didn't have access to Dirt Vision audio or whatever. I wanted to make sure people knew what was going on, but we couldn't because there was just absolutely no internet because everybody literally was on their internet and it bogged the internet down. But again, 30, I'm going to guess 36,000 people. And then real quick, too, I know we shared a post on our Facebook page, and I shared it to Worldwide Sprint Car fan page. Shout out to those guys as well.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Worldwide Sprint Car fan page. Cy Lynch, the driver of the car number 92. That's an interesting story. Cy Lynch set quick time Saturday night.
I about cried.
I didn't about cry.
I
but
did.
Saturday, yeah, you're kind of a baby, though. Saturday night at King's Royal.
It was pretty awesome.
Cy Lynch was he was the first car out in qualifying, which does help quite a bit normally, but he turned a lap of 13.019 and actually set quick time at the King's Royal. And there's actually 2 interesting storylines to this story of Cy Lynch setting quick time at the King's Royal. He became the first father-son. Cy is the son of Ed Lynch Jr., who is, if you follow sprint car racing and he's an absolute legend in Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
From Apollo,
100%.
Pennsylvania. I think all-time feature winner at Lernerville and stuff like that.
Yep.
Crazy numbers. He and Cy became the first ever father-son duo to set quick times at the King's Royal, which is really cool in and of itself. But the cool part about this story was this team, this 410 sprint car team, didn't even exist a week before the King's Royal. The guy who owned this car is a 305 racer from Pennsylvania. He didn't even own a 410 engine. They bought a 410 engine the week of the King's Royal. They put it in Tuesday night and then went to Ohio Wednesday. And Cy Lynch sets quick time at the 36 King's Royal. I mean, that is freaking, I'm sorry, but that's badass.
It is. And then,
actually, by getting, just before we go on, by getting quick time, Cy Lynch guaranteed himself a spot in the King's Royal A-Main. Yeah, he first and second were guaranteed a spot in the A-Main Saturday night. And Cy Lynch, setting quick time, started 19th in the A-Main by locking himself in, which is just awesome in and of itself.
So I have one thing. My Cinderella story of the night was a guy named Tom Harris.
Yeah.
If you've never heard Tom Harris, don't feel bad. But you're going to have to feel bad after this because This kid runs in Great Britain, and they don't even have sprint cars there. He ran like a stock car deal that had bumpers.
Stock cars, yeah, in Britain.
Exactly. So he ran Knoxville last year. Didn't do the best. He ran the Nationals. That was his first ever sprint car race.
It was.
Came to Eldora, got third or fourth quick. He was in the top 5.
He was in the top 5.
He was in the top 5, which is one. Commend that team for that. But then he started towards the rear of the A main, and this guy became a legend for one of the greatest things I ever watched. So he was getting lapped. Brad Sweet was in the lead. Logan Schuchart was in the lead at the time, and Donnie Schatz was kind of coming. And Tom was able to block Donnie Schatz for about...
Well, with that being said, though, I don't think Tom was intentionally blocking
Donnie
Schatz.
But
I just
still,
think that he was holding his line around the bottom.
He was.
And Donnie was trying to use the bottom to slide Tom, and then we all know Donnie at every racetrack is really good through the middle and around the bottom.
Amen.
And Tom held Donnie up for a couple of laps, and that it did allow a couple other guys like Sheldon Hodgshield, and there was a couple other guys that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Brad Sweet.
Brad Sweet to get around Donnie, and Donnie actually got shuffled back to 4th or 5th before the red flag, before the open red. But actually, a cool story about Tom, too. Tom Harris became, with him qualifying for the Kings Royal A Main, he became the first man from England, or the United Kingdom, whatever they call it now over there, to make the Kings Royal A Main features. So we had 2 really kind of sentimental, really cool storylines to follow throughout Saturday night.
And then another one was Sheldon Hodenschild and his dad Jack started side by side
in the A Main,
and that was just awesome. That's cool to see.
Let's go ahead. We kind of talked about we're here real quick. Obviously,
since we're on talking about
Cy Lynch, quick time at the Kings Royal. The heat race, they had what they called a joust, which was a little confusing for everybody.
You need a medical degree to figure this stuff out, folks. Yeah, it was really confusing.
But the joust was the top 6 cars in qualifying were automatically locked into this thing they called the joust, obviously sticking with the medieval theme. But what they did is they ran a race, they drew for their spot in the race, and how they finished in the race, in the joust, allowed them to pick what heat race their cars wanted to be in, or what heat race they wanted to be in. It did not change who was in what heat race. Their heat race was locked in. I mean, but instead of maybe being in heat 1, which the quick time Cy Lynch would have been, he got to pick what heat race he could have been in, and so on and so forth. Now, I can't remember who won the joust. I know Schatz got second. Who did win the joust?
Wasn't it?
It was Pittman. Darren Pittman won the joust.
Yeah, Pittman won the joust.
And Pittman chose Heat 1, which I'm not sure why he did that.
Because if you win Heat 1, you go to 6.
You start 6th in the Kings Royal A Main. If you win it, you have to win it.
Yeah.
Because they do a weird format at the Kings Royal where they invert the top 6, and you start 6th in your heat race if you're the fastest qualifier in your heat race, and you have to win your heat race. And then the winners of the heat races are inverted by 6. Where if you win Heat 1, you start 6th. You win Heat 2, you start 5th. You win Heat 3, you start 4th, and so on and so forth. It's a weird format. We talked to Steve Kinzer about it. Steve Kinzer's not a fan of the Kings Royal format.
We'll talk more about Steve here in a minute.
But I'm just saying he's not a fan of the format at all, and I don't think hardly anybody is. Nope. But it's the way they've done it out there forever. But anyway, so that's how they lined up the heat races. And the other really kind of this is a sentimental format, or a sentimental story right here. Sammy Swindell, 63 years old, driving in his son's Swindell Speed Lab number 39, owned by his son and his daughter-in-law, Jordan, put it on the pole of the 36 Kings Royal. I mean, folks, if you don't like, I'll just keep going here, if you don't like Sammy Swindell, it really doesn't even matter. That is super cool. Sammy Swindell and Jack Hodenshield both qualified for the A-Main Saturday Night at Kings Royal. And the cool thing about that was they were both guys who qualified for the first ever Kings Royal in 1984, and here we are 36 years later. I'm not sure how old Jack is, late 50s, early 60s, and then Sammy's 63. They both qualified for the A-Main, and not only did they qualify for the A-Main, they were competitive in the A-Main. Sammy put it on the pole. Jack started 10th and ended up getting 8th. Sammy fell back and got 7th, but Sammy did lead the first 10 laps of the Kings Royal, and it was just super cool to see that. I know Sammy was pumped. I've never seen Sammy so pumped after he won that heat race.
The best part was his interview after his heat race, but then during driver...
Woo! That's what he did.
Yeah. So during driver intros, he was getting ready to hop off the stage, and he turned around and went up and sat in that chair that Brad Sweet ended up getting to sit in instead. And Brad's Victory Lane interview, probably single-handedly one of the greatest ones I've listened to. I mean, that guy was just...
Holy shit! That's what he did.
It is.
That's what he said.
I'll give you a free pass there.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's what he said.
Well, yeah.
But, no, like, in all seriousness, Brad Sweet, he put on... That was... I'll tell you what. We'll go to the A-main. We'll just break down the A-main real quick.
Yeah.
So, Sammy Swindell and Donnie Schatz started on the front row. And I think everybody going into that deal thought, oh, boy, here we go again. It's going to be the Don Chillick.
Thought it was going to be a clinic.
And he was going for his 4th Kings Royal win in a row.
Yeah.
And thankfully... Which,
Thank God.
You know, we're not really biased against Donnie Schatz. My opinion on Donnie Schatz is, you know what?
He is who he is, and he wins.
He's a good guy. He's the ultimate racer. He goes to the racetrack. He's not there to entertain you. He's not there to be your friend. But he's not there to wreck you or do something stupid like that. He's there to win the race. Donnie Schatz is about winning the race, and that's what he does. And Donnie wins, and people don't like guys who win all the time. They call them cheaters. They think they're this and that and the other, which is not true at all, in my opinion. And Donnie Schatz wins races, and people don't like that. And you know what? I really don't care. We're not biased against Donnie or for Donnie. And Donnie, if you cannot respect Donnie Schatz, it's because you're jealous of greatness. Donnie Schatz is great. He's great. I don't care what anybody thinks.
He's probably single-handedly one of the top 5 greatest sprint car drivers of all time. I don't care. If you say that I'm an idiot for saying that, but it's true. He's a good driver.
And you know what?
He's natural.
Depending on how you look at it, we're in an era of sprint car racing that is as tough as it's ever been to win in. Everybody's equal. The engines hit hard. The cars work good. I mean, it takes drivers to win races now. And it takes people, don't get me wrong. It takes drivers, and it takes a lot of money, too. We all know that. But, you know, in my opinion... Donnie Schatz might be, and I'm not 100% sure. It's Donnie Schatz or Steve Kinser. They are the 2 greatest of all time, in my opinion. And we could do a whole 3-hour show about that argument. But what Donnie Schatz, and you know, I'm a huge Steve Kinser fan. I mean, heck, I got his kid's shirt on right now. Craig and Steve are great guys. But I really think what Donnie Schatz has done in the last 15 years is as impressive as we've ever seen in sprint car racing. Like, it's not even close, in my opinion.
So anyway, move on. The real story about the A-main, though, was a young man named Brent Marks.
Well, he was incredible.
Was one of the big stories of the night. He came from, what, was it 16th?
He started 16th.
16th. Alex and I didn't even realize that he... Well, at first, until all of a sudden they're like, hey, when the Open Red happened, they're like, Brent Marks is all... And I looked at Alex and I'm like, dude... He's hauling the mail.
At that point, it was a good run. I still wasn't really paying attention to Brent until about 10 to go. When he passed up Sheldon Hodden, or Donnie Schatz, which was impressive, always impressive.
I was cheering so
Then he
hard.
got around Sheldon Hodenshield, and he got the 3rd. And I'll be honest with you, folks. I looked at Safe. I said, dude, I'm telling you, Brent Marks is going to win the Kings Royal. Because he blew by Donnie, he blew by Sheldon, and they're both very good at Eldora. He caught Logan, who is probably the most consistent car all week, even though he didn't win a race. He was in the top 3 every single night. He got around Logan for a second. He got into second for like 1 lap maybe. I thought, dude, I'm telling you right now, Brent Marks is going to win the Kings Royal. Like, this is going to be the greatest upset in the history of sprint car racing. One of them anyway. You know, Bobby Allen winning the 1990 Nationals is probably the biggest upset all the time, but... I really thought, holy cow, like, I was freaking out. I was like, you safe? Brent Marks is going to win the Kings Royal. Holy cow. I was freaking out.
He was. I thought he could have got it.
He was bad fast.
He was.
That was awesome to see. He ended up coming home 3rd, and like we said, Logan Schuchart got 2nd. Logan Schuchart was a really big storyline, too, because Logan Schuchart kind of, you know, he got a little bit behind the 8 ball there at the start of the night, had to start 12th in the A-main, and we're like, oh, boy, you know, Logan... I think he's gonna come up there, but he might get a top 5 out of this hill. Yeah. He gets a top 5. We'll consider that a good night. Yeah. Dude, he went from 12th to 1st in less than 15 laps. Logan Schuchart was leading before the lap 15 mark. It was incredible. He slid when he took the lead. He got around Donnie Schatz and Sammy Swindell in one corner, and I'm like, holy cow, dude! Logan Schuchart.
I thought he was gonna win after that move.
Well, yeah, and it's always hard to tell because, like, you know, obviously they pack them full of fuel, and once the fuel burns off, your true setup starts to show, like how good your car is or isn't. And Logan's car was pretty consistent all night long, but Brad's was just a little bit better there at the end when the fuel load was gone.
Yeah, Brad looked really good. The guys that were in, I'm going to say the top 7, were able to run both the top and the bottom pretty well. I mean, there was all of the cars, especially Brent Marks. His car worked wherever he threw that thing. it would just stick. I mean, they had the magic setup on that night because his car was just on fire.
Yeah.
I think if there would have been a yellow, I think Brent would have won the race.
I tell you what, man, I don't know if he'd have won, but I
think
really
he
thought
because he looked good on that last restart after the open red. He had a good restart.
Logan was fighting an engine stubble and the car wouldn't take off on restarts. Once he got going, it was fine, but on the restarts, it was killing him. And I don't know, man. He might have done it.
I think Brent could have got it done, honestly.
I do too, really.
But
I agree.
But I guess, I don't know, Sweet was really good on starts. He put on a clinic of how to fire an engine on a sprint car and a restart.
Well, all
night he was
really Brad Sweet right now is just he's in that mode. He's beginning to go in that phase where what we've seen Donnie Schatz the last 10 years and where Steve Kinser was for like 3 decades. He's so comfortable with his race cars. He was so, they got good chemistry. They have good equipment, obviously. And I think Brad Sweet is going to probably be the next Donnie Schatz.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was just, yeah.
I
agree.
He's in his early 30s. He's only been, the crazy thing about Brad Sweet, he's only been racing wing sprint cars full time for like 6 or 7, maybe 8 years tops.
Yeah.
And he's already won the Nationals. He's got 2 Kings Royals wins now. And he's really going to be tough to beat, I think. Him and Donnie are going to fight out for the Outlaw Championship.
Oh, I think this is Sweet's year.
He could be. We'll see. Donnie found
since Nationals last year, Brad's been on a pretty good roll, I'm going to tell
Donnie's
you that.
found a little something here lately.
I don't think it's enough.
I know he missed it a little bit Saturday night, which, that can happen. It's racing. But
it is.
Don't count that guy out. He's won 3 of the last 5 Outlaw races, and he's finished in the top 5 or 6, every night pretty much this year.
Another driver that looked pretty good, too, that night was Kerry Madsen.
Yeah,
Saturday night. Kerry
he struggled in the feature a little bit, but he did have a good heat race, and
he had a really good heat race.
Ian Madsen was a guy who struggled just a little bit. Mm-hmm. He was a little off on speed, but he did make the show out of the B main, and he passed 8 or 10 cars in the feature.
Which is still really good, though. I mean, don't get us wrong.
It's decent.
Yeah. So, Saturday night was great. I want to touch on some things.
Yeah, tell us real quick. I'll just introduce it.
Sure.
You can go on for as long as you want.
Okay.
We were able to meet and talk to some guys we already knew over the weekend at the Kings Royal, and we got a lot of new contact information. Safe worked his magic, and we probably pretty much got like almost the whole field. And Safe, I know you got some contact information to some guys who possibly might be on the show here coming up in the next couple weeks, maybe for the Nationals and stuff. They're wanting to do some interviews at the Nationals. Why don't you go ahead and Safe and go through some of the guys we got?
Sure. We'll start from. I have a whole list here, but before I go through all of them, Alex is really pumped about an opportunity that we got from a great racing family.
Yeah,
I want to start with that, actually.
I am.
Craig and Steve Kinser
and Dana.
Yeah. Actually, Kinser Racing as a whole.
Yeah. Great family.
I'm actually trying not to kind of get choked up because this was...
So why would you do that?
Well, this is really humbling, and this is a huge opportunity for Alex and I. It's just so cool.
It was very cool.
We are blessed. I'm going to tell you that. Yeah. We are really blessed right now, and actually, all of you Dirt and Asphalt fans are blessed too.
Why is that?
Well, some of them are going to win some really cool stuff. If you haven't seen the video yet or the photos, we got the opportunity to meet Steve at his trailer. He was just signing some autographs. We started talking to him a little bit. We did get him and Craig's information. We're going to have them on the show. But we saw him down at the trailer after the race Friday night. We had the T-shirt competition that I won. And so we told Steve why we had the T-shirts.
He cheated.
We told Steve why we had the T-shirts and why they were getting signed. And he said, hey, come see me tomorrow at my T-shirt trailer. I'll give you guys some stuff to give away. We were thinking it was going to only be a few items, folks. They went above and beyond that. They gave us so much stuff. The hats that we're giving away, those are Victory Lane hats, and those are hats that Steve, they're all signed. They're real Steve Kinser autographs. The license plate covers, Steve signed those. And then we have a bunch of stickers.
He signed this diecast car too, which is actually a Craig Kinser diecast, but either way, it's still cool.
Yeah, So I mean,
we got some of these. I know you mentioned it, Safe. I'm just gonna
show the fans.
Oops, sorry about that, but
you're okay.
We've actually got Steve. These are official Victory Lane hats. These are hats that Steve Kinzer wore after he won World of Outlaw races throughout his career. This was back in the days when he was driving for Carl Kinzer, and he had the Valvoline sponsorship. So that's one of the hats that there's actually two of them. Yeah, I apologize.
And then we have two of his Bass Pro hats.
And then we have when he drove for Tony Stewart when he had Bass Pro sponsorship. He was kind enough to give us a couple of these, and we're going to be giving away, like Say said, to you guys, you the fans. It's because you guys have been so supportive of racing. Yeah. More importantly, not even just us, but of racing in general.
Exactly, because that's what we're all about.
You go ahead and talk about it. I'll just show some of the stuff.
So I want to talk about this real quick because we're getting closer to Front Row Challenge time.
Got some cool stuff. This is license plates and...
We're getting closer to Front Row Challenge time, and this is what I want from you fans right now.
Got some cool stickers.
After this video is done,
stickers.
Those aren't stickers; those are patches.
Patches. I'm sorry, patches. My bad.
You can just hold them up. I'm gonna talk.
No, it's okay.
So after the Front Row Challenge is coming up, folks, and this is what I want you to do. After this podcast is done,
cool stuff. You
need to make sure that you go like and say thank you. On the Facebook page, Oski Challenges. Now listen, after you have gone on Oski Challenges,
Asphalt, follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
After you've gone to Oski Challenges and liked their page, come back to ours. I'm going to make a post after this show and with the details, and you are going to be entered in to win one of these signed hats. You'll get your pick. But you have to go like Oski Challenges, and then you'll have to say done on a post that we're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
If you already like them, make sure you still go there and check them out about the dates for the Front Row Challenge. So make sure you pay attention to that because we are getting close. We want to pack the stands, the pits with fans. And also that same day, we are going to be at the Penn Central Mall from 12 to 2. We're going to get some drivers there, World of Outlaw drivers, and then some drivers that race at Knoxville. We're going to get as many drivers as we can. Just stop up, get an autograph, get a photo, say thank you to them. They'll have merchandise for sale, so Alex and I are really excited about that opportunity. But again, the Kinzer family...
they just went. The thing is,
it's insane.
Well, the thing is that's cool about it, Safe, and I think everybody else will agree out there is that the fact that when we went to the souvenir trailer, we actually talked to Craig Thursday night after the races, and we actually talked to him for a half hour about racing, about his race team, and then obviously we told him about our podcast and what we're trying to accomplish with our podcast. And Craig was right on board with that. He's a really cool guy, really easy to talk to, real laid back. Like you wouldn't even know he's a famous race car driver if you didn't know who he was. And his dad's a famous race car driver. You wouldn't even know it by talking to him. And the thing is like he was so on board with helping us out, and we ended up going to the T-shirt trailer, the souvenir trailer, the next morning, Friday afternoon. And Dana and Steve were in the trailer, and we talked to them and told them, hey, Safe talked to Steve. He goes, hey, we run the Dirt and Asphalt podcast. We'd really love to have you on our show sometime or be able to interview you sometime. We're just getting started, blah blah blah. And Steve right away, obviously, he gave us his contact information, and we're going to do an interview with him probably during the Nationals, which is awesome in and of itself. I mean, he's Steve frickin' Kinzer, for crying out loud. They don't call him the King of the Outlaws for no reason. And then his wife, Dana, is just like the coolest woman you'll ever meet. She wanted to go ahead and say, she wanted to thank us for what we were doing. She said, it's awesome. Anytime, she said, obviously we're not in the sport anymore. Obviously Craig's still in the sport, but we ourselves aren't in it. She said, but any exposure we can get to the sport of sprint car racing is big. It's huge. What you guys are doing is big. What all of us podcasters and internet guys are doing is big. If we're doing it in a positive sense, which we are.
We aren't for profit.
So, again, like Say said, thank you so much to Steve and Dana Kinzer for hooking us up with this merchandise. And we're going to make sure it goes to really good race fans who love racing and who go to the racetracks and who will support racing. And I know Safe said it. If you would, just go over to Craig Kinzer Racing and like that Facebook page. Follow them on Twitter. And Craig was talking to us, and I don't think he'd mind us saying this. They're not believe it or not, a lot of guys may not believe this, but they're not a heavily funded team. They don't have piles and piles of sponsorship money. And if there's anybody out there who wants to partner up with a race team who has proven that they have won. I mean, Steve's won hundreds of races. Craig Kinzer's won the Knoxville Nationals.
And Craig's doing. And Craig is not having necessarily a bad year either.
He's just underfunded, and he's a guy who can win races. He's proved it. He's won the Nationals. He's won World of Outlaw races in his career. He's won All-Star races. He's raced in the NASCAR Truck Series and performed well. He's running the IROC Series. If you're a guy out there who maybe is looking for a sponsorship or a partnership opportunity, and you want to hook up with a big-time wing sprint car team, I'm just here to tell you, and you want to hook up with somebody who's humble and who will represent your company and promote your product with respect and with honor, Craig Kinzer and Craig Kinzer Racing are the guys that you want to partner with. And we're not just saying that because of this. We're saying it's because they are genuinely super
awesome
nice, cool guys.
They're probably some of the coolest people we met all weekend.
They really are. I mean, honestly.
So we're going to move on now because we have some new exciting contact information to go through right now because we didn't get finished with that. So I'm going to start from the top of my list. I have written down all
President Trump?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wrote down every racer who I have contact information from. Sprint car racers.
Right.
We're going to start at the top and work our way down. So first, we're going to start with Brent Marks, then James McFadden, Corey Eliason, Casey Kane.
Believe it or not, that actually is true. That did happen.
Paul McMahon, Steve Kinzer, Bill Baylog, Craig Kinzer, Clyde Knipp, and if you don't know who Clyde Knipp is, awesome young man. He ran the World of Outlaws last year.
Yep.
They aren't a team right now.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah,
a couple
but
years.
he's running the Summer Nationals in Canada, and he's running I think a couple other races in the U.S. But we'll be back next year anyway. So Clyde Knipp, the Steel City Outlaw Tim Schafer, Darren Pittman, Jason Sides, Rico Abreu. Or Brew, I don't know how.
I think it's Abreu.
I think it is too, but I've heard both ways.
Yeah,
so
some people are weird.
Logan Schuhart, Carson Macedo, and Kerry Madsen.
Jacob Allen.
We did not get Jacob's information.
We got his Facebook. He said message him on
yeah,
Facebook.
Okay, so yes, technically we also got Jacob Allen.
Paul McMahon, did you say Paul?
Yeah, I said Paul.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have them all here.
He's a super cool dude too, Paul.
Yeah, Paul was awesome. Bill Baylog was great to us. It was cool to meet Bill and hang out with him for a while.
Yeah, Bill's he's a good dude.
Chill dude.
Just a good old Midwestern boy trying to race 410 sprint cars. That's what he is.
Amen. So,
we got a lot of possible really exciting interviews coming up on our podcast here.
We do. And
during the Nationals as well.
Yeah, and so touching on giveaways, Alex and I have decided on something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did.
We have the Chuck Graves benefit coming up.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with this. But, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead.
The Chuck Graves benefit is coming up in Sheraton, Iowa.
Yes.
And we are donating some items to that. Make sure you go and check that out.
Yeah, and real quick, for those of you who may not know, you might be lost right now. Like, what are these guys talking about? Who's Chuck Graves? What's that all about? Chuck Graves is a sprint car, a non-wing sprint car driver from Sheraton, Iowa. And like I said, for those of you who don't know, Chuck was injured in a heat race crash out here at the Southern Iowa Speedway about 3 weeks ago, 3 Wednesdays ago. And he ended up being transported to the hospital here in town, and then he was life-flighted to Des Moines with some pretty serious injuries. He had bleeding on the brain, a broken sternum, loss of use or feeling in his right leg. And he's getting better. It sounds like he's conscious. He's awake. He's gonna make a full recovery. It's just gonna take time. Obviously, he's an older gentleman, so that takes time in and of itself to recover. They're gonna, we had the lady message us that they're gonna put the Chuck Graves Foundation together and have this benefit, or not the foundation, but this benefit. And we're 100% on board. We're behind that 100%. We hope you guys are as well. Donate any money or any gifts, anything you can to help this family out. I think they're good people.
They are.
They love racing, and we want to see Chuck get better and make full recovery. And we, the race fans, the race family, need to do whatever we can to help that go as quickly and as smoothly as possible. And like Say said, we'll have all the information about that on our Facebook page, on our Twitter pages, all that stuff.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that. And so now, Alex, I think it's time to do something that everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
It's T-shirt time! Yeah! Listen to that crowd get rowdy. No, we're filming in front of a live audience.
We are? Where are they at? I don't see them.
I don't know. On the computer.
Does the dog count?
So, okay.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that, too.
Thank
real
you.
quick.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Alex and I have made our picks, and we're going to let Alex, the loser of the competition, go first.
You really got to do me like that, SJ?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I have to.
I hate
All right,
you.
so it's for...
This T-shirt right here,
Da, 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 da.
we have a winner. As you know, Safe and I took 2 Dirt and Asphalt, which, by the way, cool logo,
It is.
out to Eldora, and we got as many drivers as we possibly could to sign our T-shirts. And I probably got 10 or 15 guys. Safe probably got like 500, but got like 10 or 15
You got
guys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
He's gonna
7,
do this right
8,
now.
9,
What
10,
a jerk!
11,
What a tool.
12, 13. Alex got 14.
That's good, man. That's better
Here
than
you
I
go.
thought I'd do.
So
Thanks,
hold
bud.
that sucker up and announce
Okay.
the winner.
So I went through and looked. Our winner is, at least my winner is Justin. And I apologize if I butcher your name or anything like that. I'm kind of bad with I'm bad with pronunciations. Kind of like Saif Gafke. And my winner is Justin Slusser from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Justin.
Hey, let's give a round of applause.
Yeah, woohoo, good job. But you won this Dirt and Asphalt T-shirt with a bunch of autograph signatures on it. We'll message you on Facebook and get all your mailing information. That way we can make sure we get it mailed to you. SG, it's time that you reveal your winner, and it's actually a pretty familiar, someone we're familiar with.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4,
got 9.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Maybe 11.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Wow, I beat you.
You had 14.
This is golf. Lowest score wins. Oh, wait, no. Highest score wins. No, wait, no.
Yeah.
Lowest score wins in golf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even know what I'm talking about right now. And I played golf. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Scary.
So,
So,
are you safe?
are you ready to announce the winner of the most signed T-shirt? It is Sam Warwick.
Imagine that. Long-time race fan Sam Warwick.
Hey, that's awesome, though.
You
These
cheated.
were random. These were 100% random. We can both honor that. There's no
Well,
reason
I can honor mine. Mine was
can honor
completely
mine.
random.
Mine
Safes,
too.
I don't know. He might have cheated. I don't know.
Thanks. Also,
I'm
real
just
quick,
saying I wasn't here when
we
you
didn't
picked.
notice something new in the background. Shout out to our friend Wes Irwin from Living Like an Outlaw.
He was kind enough to help us get that. Wes, that is an official World of Outlaws banner too, by the way. So that's pretty cool.
It's pretty nice. Our goal with that is to get it signed by
Safe
every
stole it.
driver at the Knoxville
I
Nationals.
kind of think we need to keep it like that.
I want to get the inside
Aw,
side.
man.
Oh, you know how cool that'd be?
Yeah, but there's gonna be a bunch of ink marks all over that pretty banner.
It'll be okay. You'll get over it
I
once you
won't
see
get
it. It'll
over
look
it.
cooler.
No, I'm gonna.
So
throw a
shout
fit
out to
about it.
Wes. Also, folks, another thing you could win. There is another one of these.
You could win a date with Safe.
Mouse.
Safe, you can win a date with Safe Grafke,
No, you
co-host of
can't.
the Dirt and Asphalt podcast.
Not true.
His fiance,
You know what? Real
fiance
quick,
said
time out,
it's good for one night only.
No, not true.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of podcasts, I want to give a real quick shout out to Dwayne and Elliot over at the
Yes.
Dirt Nerds podcast.
Yes.
Those guys were phenomenal. A riot to be around, honestly.
Pretty cool dudes.
Joe and Melissa Krogan with Worldwide Sprint Car fans.
Chris Shave, Dustin Kinzer, Darren
Derek
Moore,
Reddick.
all them guys, Derek Redden,
Redden,
all
sorry.
them dudes, super cool dudes, by the way.
We had a blast hanging out with them.
I'll tell you what, them boys can party.
Oh, yeah.
We can't keep. They ain't no way Safe and Alice can keep up with them boys, and they ain't no way we're gonna try and keep up with them boys.
No way.
No sir. not
Anyway,
happening.
it was awesome to finally meet that group.
Yes, it was.
Great people. You need to become fans
and
of
the
that
cool
page
thing was-
and watch Dirt Nerds as well.
Well, the cool thing is, Safe, is we actually had the opportunity to interview those guys, and those interviews will be coming up.
Yeah, they will be. We have a great interview.
Unless Safe screws a pooch and doesn't download it.
We have a great interview from Dwayne and Elliot at Dirt Nerds. And, you know, yes, we are a podcast. And people are probably thinking, why would you interview another podcast and hang out with them?
You know what I say
Because
to
we
that?
don't really
Well, why
care.
not?
Yeah, we're not
Why
worried about
wouldn't we?
that because they're two awesome guys. They've been doing it way longer than us. And they're just great. I've listened to some of their work, and they're hilarious to listen to, honestly.
Yeah, they're more cool than
So
we
shout
are.
out to Dwayne and Elliot from Dirt Nerds.
Yeah, and
Dwayne is
Safe
going to
had
be
the
coming to
Safe had
Knoxville.
Safe had the opportunity to interview both Dwayne and Elliot both.
Yeah.
Like I say, those interviews will be coming up, and like you say, you won't want to miss those interviews. They're highly entertaining. They're really cool.
You got to interview
I got
Joe.
to interview Joe Cragen, and then Chris Shave kind of
Popped in.
he kind of popped in and
It's
ruined
okay.
it. But you know,
No,
what? It was Chris knows I'm joking, but that was a good interview.
It
Good
was.
two interviews.
That was
And then,
awesome.
You know what the cool part was too, Safe? If you guys haven't seen that yet, We got to be featured in an official World of Outlaw YouTube and Facebook video. That was
Everyone's
awesome.
like, you guys aren't going to make it on TV.
Well, I actually, they did. They said we're not going to make it, and I said, well, boys, I'm with Safe Graphic. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, anything is possible with Safe Graphic, good or bad. And what actually happened is Wes came over to us, and we were having the World Sprint Car fan page meet and greet, which we had planned anyway. And we're just chilling. We're drinking, or we weren't drinking beer, but the other guys were drinking beer.
We had Pib and water.
We had a lot of water because it was
a lot of Pib.
Yeah, we had a lot of everything, but we were talking, and all of a sudden Wes Iron comes over from Living Like an Outlaw, or Irwin, or whatever his name is, came over, and he's like, hey, we're gonna do a deal, blah blah blah. We're gonna do this video. Like, yeah, why not? Sure. Yeah. Best part was about that video, and you have to go watch that video. It was a preview for the King's Royal that night, and he told us at first we were to turn around and go woo, get all crazy and act stupid and everything, like we're excited for the race, which we were excited for the race. We didn't even have to act, and then he was gonna say something about watch on Dirt Vision, blah blah blah. Then he was gonna turn around and go, he wanted us to say this is the greatest show on dirt, which we did. This is the greatest show on dirt, and when we did that, Safe's like, this is the greatest show on dirt. Woo! He's just like freaking out. His pose, he's just like, woo! Yeah! It's like, Safe, what are you doing, bud? It was pretty cool, though. I thought that was funny. You can see he's like in a football stance, like he's playing D-line. He's like, yeah! He's just like funnier than hell. Funny as can be.
Oh, that was great. That was the highlight right there.
That was pretty fun. That was pretty fun.
Oh man. So anyway.
Oh wait.
Waters got me in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble. I just got in trouble with your fiance, so I apologize.
Anyway.
Janie, I'm sorry. I made that up off the top of my head. I apologize. I better apologize or I'm going to get fired from the Dirt and Asphalt podcast.
You don't want that.
No, I don't.
So anyway, real quick again.
We won't get to do cool stuff again.
Congratulations to our 2 T-shirt winners.
Yeah. Justin and Sam.
Again, inbox us. We'll get your information if you need it shipped. Sam, I don't think we're going to have a problem with that.
Probably not.
But,
maybe not.
I doubt it. So, anyway. Yeah, that's all we have, folks. I mean, it was, oh, man.
What a trip, Safe.
What a trip.
Like, first ever trip to Eldora, and it just happened to be the biggest sprint car race in history.
Amen.
Like, dude, guys, that's what we do at Dirt and Asphalt. When we do something, we do it big.
Yeah, and get ready because we have...
Big. Give me a high five.
Folks, get ready for a lot more awesome stuff because we have... Wanders, can I talk?
Hold on.
Okay.
I love you. Love you, bud. Just wanted you to know that.
Okay.
All right.
Love you too as a friend.
Just so you know, Safe tells me that all the time. Then the one time I tell it to him back, he doesn't say it back.
Not
what a
true.
jerk.
Not true.
Whatever.
Anyway,
it is
so
true.
Folks, get ready because we have some big events coming up here.
It's a big month for racing.
It really is. It is.
Especially in our area.
It's like 10 days straight.
This is our favorite. Well,
even
before that.
First off, we have the
All-Stars.
Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Stars coming to town Saturday to Knoxville.
Yeah.
Sunday at 34 Speedway in Burlington, and then it just kicks off from there. Cause then
it gets really crazy.
Then you got the 360 Nationals,
the 410 Nationals,
and then you have a break for a couple days, and then you have Actually, no, there is no break. I'm sorry. You roll into 360 Nationals, and then Sunday you have the Capitani, and then Monday again Front Row Challenge. Go like Osky challenges on Facebook. Get all the updates from there about the event. Get your tickets bought.
Yep.
Make sure you go that night and the second night, Tuesday night, for the Ultimate Challenge. And then we're at Knoxville for
the biggest sprint car race.
The biggest sprint car race. Not the highest paying, but it is the biggest by far. Yes, Eldora was big, but this is the biggest race. So we have that. We're going to have interviews. We're going to be there. Talking to the fans, talking with drivers, talking to whoever we can talk to, honestly.
Yep.
So get ready for that because it's about to get busy for the Dirt and Asphalt podcast.
Ooh, and I love it. We're excited and ready for it. Southern Iowa Sprint Week. And real quick, too, on a side note, this has been mostly a sprint car show. Obviously, we just got back from the Kings Royal. Why wouldn't it be? Now, kind of, not really.
No.
But I do want to give a quick shout out to tonight at the Stewart Speedway. They're having a Monday night spotlight special, and it's on IMCA TV, and it's presented by IMCA TV. And we actually have two, as far as I know, two of our local competitors from here in Oskaloosa are there, and that would be Brayton Carter, driver of the 01 Team Jimmy 01, and Carter Vandenberg, driver of the Carter Vandenberg Racing 7V. They both made the long trip over to Stewart, Iowa. They're looking to pick up $500 in the Sport Bod division tonight. Yeah. And we want to wish both of those guys the best of luck and hope one of them brings home the hardware for Oskaloosa. We hope to see him finish one, too. That would be really cool.
And another thing I wanted to touch, because I just saw this and I remembered it, Webster County Speedway has a huge hobby stock race coming up.
Talking about Hamilton County Speedway?
Yeah. What'd I say?
Webster County. That's okay.
I'm at Webster City.
That's all right.
Hamilton County Speedway has a huge hobby stock. $1,500 to win hobby
That's
knockers.
A big deal, man.
That's a big deal for you.
They don't race
guys.
For that kind of money very often.
No, they don't. So
also, I want to shout out. There was some other big events going on this weekend. Bobby Pierce in the number 32 Rocket Chassis won the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series race at the Silver Dollar Speedway in Greenwood, Nebraska. It was the 9th running of the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Yes,
the
sir.
win was worth $53,000. So congrats to Bobby and his dad on that big win. That's a family-owned team. They're not really running any committed series this year, and they've won a lot of races already this year.
Yep.
And they won the Silver Dollar Nationals. Also, shout out to Rodney Sanders. The United States Modified Touring Series was at I-80, and they were part of the Silver Dollar Nationals. And it was an $8,000 payday for Rodney, and that's like his third Silver Dollar Nationals win in a row. So shout out to Rodney for that. And I'm trying to think of any other major non-sprint car related events.
Harvick.
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick won.
That's right, Save. Thanks for bringing that up.
Amen.
Kevin Harvick won the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series race yesterday at New Hampshire. And if you haven't seen that one, we got to admit, that was one heck of a cup race.
Yeah, it was.
The last 5 laps, he beat out Denny Hamlin. And that was Harvick's second one in a row at New Hampshire. And
I don't know who won the Indy race at Iowa.
Joseph Newgarden.
There you go.
Shout
out to Joseph.
Because
I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name because I'm not that good.
Newgarden.
Newgarden. Oh, I thought I said Bewgarden.
No.
Okay, Newgarden.
Gee, many Christmas, boys.
So, shout out to all those guys.
Soft, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, Alice.
That's fair.
Okay, we're going to wrap this show up.
What a great show it was.
What a great show.
Thank you. Each and every... Another thing, too, for you.
We're over 1,000.
Dude, we're at 1,100 likes already.
We're almost at 12, I think, actually.
Pretty close. And that's because you guys are awesome.
Woo!
And I just went deaf in my headphones, but that's all right. But, yeah, Big guy,
yeah. Shout out to Brad. That is a very actual representation of what happened.
I wish I could run and jump and be like, yeah, woo!
That was great. Anyway.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you again for watching the Dirt and Asphalt Podcast. This is Safe Grafke and Alex Wanders. Keep her clean. Keep her green. Don't hit the fence.